want you to think with me for a second. At Homeroom Devo, here we are. Think about the last time you heard somebody pray and they prayed real long, or or they were really getting into it. They kind of got a little louder. They were excited. And when you left that person praying, you were like, man, that was a good prayer. They're a really good prayer. I wish I could be like them. I wish, my little words don't compare to anything like their prayer. Well, here we are. We're going to talk about it. This week is all about prayer. Last week was about giving our attention to God and how He doesn't force us, but He wants us to give our attention to Him. We talked about having a quiet time, and now we're going to talk about this week prayer. One of the most important things to your time with God, your communication with God. So let's jump right in. This whole week, we're going to be in Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6. Go ahead and get there. Pause. You're there. Matthew chapter 6. The whole thing is going to be Matthew chapter 6, 5 through 15. But today we're going to be starting in 5 through 8. So if you will read with me. And Jesus is teaching here on prayer. How to pray, what to pray, when to pray. And this is how He starts out. He says, "And when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues or churches and on the street corners to be seen by others. Truly, I tell you, they've received their reward in full. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And when you pray, do not keep babbling or throwing out long words like the pagans, for they think they will be heard because of their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask Him." Guys, first note on prayer, it has to be done with sincerity. Sincerity. Jesus calls out these hypocrites, and He literally says to them, I don't care how long you pray. I don't care how loud you pray. That means nothing to me. He actually calls those people hypocrites. Now, there's nothing wrong with long or loud prayers. Sometimes it's just powerful. The Spirit's moving in you and you just want to talk to God longer. You have something to pray about. But that doesn't mean you're heard. That doesn't make God want to be like, oh, look at that loud prayer, that long prayer. I'm going to run to that. No, that's not what moves God. What moves God is a sincere prayer. You know, when Jesus prayed, He really didn't pray that long most of the times that we have recorded. A lot of times it was when He was healing people or the Bible said He was just giving thanks. It wasn't long prayers, but it was real and it was sincere. Guys, the Bible says here in verse 8, do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask Him. You're not begging God to give you something. He already knows what you need. Do you believe that? When you pray, you're not hoping God's going to come through, or you're going to be like, well, I'm just going to throw this up here because I feel like I'm supposed to do it. I'm just going to have a longer prayer. Maybe God will honor it. Or I'm going to have a louder prayer because it has more power and it will move God. No. God is not moved by any of those things. God is moved by your sincere heart. You know, prayer is not about words. It's not. It's not about length or volume. It's about heart. If your heart's not right, it doesn't matter what your words are. Guys, when we're talking about prayer, it's all about the sincerity, the realness of what's in your heart. So that should bring comfort. When you pray, it can be 2 sentences. And if it is sincere, trusting God, you know that it is heard. It can be like this, or it can be like this. Or you can literally just think and pray in your head and God will hear it. Because it's not about your words, it's about your heart. So guys, as we're talking about prayer and as you're beginning to spend time with God, please, I'm begging you, don't focus on your words. Focus on your heart. If your heart actually wants to connect with God, you're going to connect with God. If your heart just wants to give out words and hope He answers, you're not going to hear anything because your heart's not in the right place. But we come to Him with complete trust, knowing that He already knows what we need before we even ask Him. We come before our God who already knows everything. We just get to say it to Him. We just get to spend time with Him. He already knows what we need. Guys, it's all about sincerity. Your loudness and your length of your prayers does not make God want to come to you. Matter of fact, He calls those people hypocrites who are praying not out of a sincere or real heart. So where is your heart at with prayer? Check your heart today as you begin to continue spending time with the Lord. I pray that you'll check your heart and remember it's not about your length of your words or your volume. It's all about your heart. Where is your heart? Love you guys. I hope this encourages you to pray just from your heart. Not worry about what other people might think of your prayer because you're not praying for them. You're praying and talking to your living God inside of you. Through Jesus Christ. Love you guys. Can't wait to go on this journey of prayer with you. And as always, if you don't want to see this, you know what to do. Deuces.